I recently conducted a little experiment to see how different forms of light affect the human eye in relation to filmmaking. The first light I will be testing is the Jupiter Power LED. You can notice the difference when I go from 5600 Kelvin down to 3200 Kelvin. Next light source that I tested was the lightsaber. This light source is quite cinematic in the way that it functions and creates some very dramatic lighting effects on the human eye. Okay, moving on to the next one, we have the RGB 62 Mini. Something important I learned to consider while making this video was that the direction of the light source plays just as crucial of a role, if not more crucial, to how the light affects the eye as the light source itself. For instance, if you imagine the human eye as a clock, this light here would be positioned at about 8 o'clock, this one at about 11. You can see how drastically different the look is in the human eye from 8 AM to 11 AM. Okay, and moving on to window light. This lighting setup is a go-to, you can't go wrong with window light. It's honestly all I need sometimes when shooting a scene. It's also relatively inexpensive with a very high power output and about 12 hours runtime if you live in Australia in the summertime. And next we have the neon light. This light source is quite a creative one and could be used in many creative ways in a film, especially if you are wanting to have visible letters or words inside the eyes of a protagonist. And next up we have the ring light. This light is the go-to for most YouTubers and influencers nowadays, and I can see why. The results speak for themselves. Very flattering on the human eye, and for a fraction of the price of some of the other options out there. And then next up we have the phone flashlight. This light was probably the most boring of the ones I tested, but as you can see, if you position it right, let's say at 11 AM, you can create some interesting light and have a nice contrast between the shadows and the highlights. The next light source is probably the most famous of all the light sources. I would not generally use this light as a primary light source to shoot any shot, but that being said, it does work as a great background light on any film set to add a bit more depth to your shots. Okay, now moving on to the LED tower lamp. This light stands at about 2 meters tall, and when reflected in the human eye, creates a little bit of curvature around the outer rims of the iris. And lastly, we have the big kahuna, the EF200 LED. This light is like having a portable mini moon inside your bedroom, dialed up to maximum brightness. And well, here's the results. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing as it helps out the channel. Tune in for my next video to see if there's any direct correlation between direct sunlight, laser beams, and macular degeneration. I'll see you next time. Or not.